The bulldozer is back, baby, and all invitations to the bull cake party been sent out, and it's a very exciting time in Bitcoin as some of our higher term time frame ideas start to play out, which I do want to be following up on today. A few new pieces of information as well, and then go on to the lower term time frames, which is completely new as well. Other than that, I want to once again let you know that you can still get the Jewel Light free for the first 30 days if you follow the directions in the link in the description below. One of the major setups actually coming off the back of that from yesterday, of course, as well as Ethereum actually too. And then actually a big shout out to the Apex exchange, the decentralized exchange, which I think a lot of people might find some value in. That's for you to decide, of course. But I've actually been looking at their exchange, and it's been picking up rather significantly, especially in the past week and a half. So it does look like it is becoming a more and more viable option. There is an affiliate link to that exchange in the description below as well that will award you 5% off of your trading fees for the lifetime of your account. Other than that, I think it's time for us to jump right into it. And we'll start off with something a little bit different today, something a little bit new as well. A few major things to be aware of over here on the 5-day time frame chart. First and foremost, we do see that a volatility versus stochastic momentum setup is basically eyeing us right in our face. It's eyeing us right in front of our face. That doesn't make any fucking sense, but doesn't matter. It's YouTube. More importantly, we do see that volatility got crushed down on the 5-day time frame to extreme lows. Some of the lowest levels that we've seen basically since June of 2020, actually. I would say that was certainly more severe than what we're looking at right now, but that was the only time that we've seen in recent memory that was, even lower than what we're looking at in this current segment right here. So this is a rather large move of brewing, I do suspect. We don't obviously have expansion taking off just yet here, but what is very interesting is that with the advent of the price action from the last 24 to 36 hours, we did see that the 5-day stochastic has actually gotten the pivot for the BULAs here, now positioned to the upside as long as Bitcoin's closed above 26,500, which playing about $2,000 above that level right now. And then also, as we identified yesterday, there is a nice trendline regression coming in from these last few major lows. I'm talking about the lows from June, July of 2022, connected with the lows from October, connected with the lows from November, December, and which was like the current low for the cycle, and then potentially these lows over here as well. Now, the first couple of those were just kind of major bounces before getting ready for further downside. Obviously, the most recent one was, the low, and this one connecting with it, could that be an identification of a new trend emerging? That would kind of be the idea right here, as Bitcoin does seemingly put in a pretty significant higher low on all higher term timeframes at that $25,000 region or so. So in this case, the reason why I'm bringing this one up is because from this setup, when we have seen volatility this low, the expansion phase that naturally follows from that setup has led to an average move of in the low 40%. Over the course of about a little over a month, actually. Now there is some variance in that, and if we actually go ahead and back test all of the prior iterations throughout the full history of Bitcoin, there's actually been 11 full ones for the long side, I should say, for the long side. If we include short side, there's like another 10 or so, but in this case, it's obviously more positioned to be an upside setup because the stochastic oscillator is pointed to the upside as of right now. Of the past 11 ones, when the stochastic oscillator has been pointed to the upside, all of them have actually resolved with significant upside moves with an average return, in the low 40%, like 43%, with the standard deviation of 10%. So we're looking somewhere on the lower end at around low 30% region, on the upper end, 50% region, essentially. Over the course of, about 33 days, with the standard deviation there of 10 days. So, could be like a month and a half, could be a little bit less than that as well. But that essentially takes us into the heart of July, I believe. Yeah, somewhere around the middle of July. So maybe some 4th of July fireworks for the good old corns here. But yeah, I thought that was rather interesting. Of course, this one, theoretically is not fully verified just yet because we do want to see, volatility expansion. But once it is this low, it is designed to expand from these lower regions. So it's really time to be paying attention to where this oscillator is positioned right now, because that is where the highly probable move is going to be coming in. Now, just because all prior 11 ones where it has been positioned to the upside have all worked out with major upside does not mean they're always going to work out like that. In fact, it definitely won't over time. There is going to be failures. Obviously, we saw a recent failure with the 2-day time frame setup, but that did not have prior 100%. But anyways, in this case right here, has pretty high probability, but as always, do want to be a little bit more on the defensive. With that said, looks pretty fucking good for now, to be fair. And playing around with numbers here, let's just say it went for the lower edge of that at 30%. That would put Bitcoin at about 32,500 or so. Kind of the top side of the macro range highs here, coming in from that last major breakdown that we saw in May of last year, actually. If it goes for the average at about 43%, we'd be looking at price action somewhere between 35 to 36,000 bucks, which would be rather interesting because that is around the last major CME gap coming in from, well, I need to go down to a daily in this case, coming in from, last year on this breakdown over here from May again. Anyways, going back into it to my chart over here, if we do go for, not we, but if Bitcoin goes for the upper end of that at 50%, that would put Bitcoin, about 38,000 bucks or so. So those are some interesting numbers here because that does kind of correlate to the 6 month time frame idea that we're looking at yesterday. Maybe we'll go over that today, maybe not, probably not. But I thought that was a good way to kind of start off this sort of analysis as to, how crazy can things get here as Bitcoin does start to prove itself off the back of EDX exchange and you got ETFs flying in all fucking directions as well. So, it does seem like kind of a good situation for the more near term. Anyways, moving on now, I do want to actually go kind of flip things completely around and go into the lower term timeframes. Lower term timeframe range as far as HPDR indicator is concerned is 29,200 to the upside short term versus about 28,550 to the downside short term. These are on closing bases. That is to say that if Bitcoin does start to come back down below about 28,500, 28,550, I would be looking for this one to come and have a much, I wouldn't say much, but a decent retracement, perhaps all the way down to $28,000 even, and very likely try for a bounce there. And actually, still probably try higher overall. But for right now, has Bitcoin found a short-term local high? Probably yes, probably trades a little bit sideways here. Let's go ahead and reference stochastic momentum and just see what's going on. Weekly time frame, by the way, which for CME is going to be closing on Friday, so another couple days in the trading week to go, will actually turn up if Bitcoin closes above 28,750, which is actually above right now by a couple $100 on CME. 5-day time frame, we already went over this. On CME, it's actually a little bit higher, but 2-day time frame remains positioned to the upside pretty significantly above 26,500, like quite vertical right there. For the volatility of stochastic momentum, it's actually incredibly low right here as well. So that could probably be considered its own setup, I suspect. Daily time frame is already expanding, obviously, and we do see that daily stochastic also remains with the upside position, and as long as Bitcoin's above 25,550, same sort of trend line regression coming in here as well. I guess I already have it in there from these last few lows starting in March, actually. 12-hour time frame also going to be showing vertical pressure above 27,600. Do keep in mind, however, that now we're starting to see these things get more and more into the critical zone here. So, short term, medium term, is that going to align with maybe one more try to the upside plus a bit of a pullback and consolidation slightly lower? I think so. 6 hour time frame, same thing. 28,700 going to be the magical number. Again, getting really, really aggressive here, to be fair. 4 hour time frame, same thing. 28,700. And hourly time frame is going to be showing probably downside pressure below 29,100. So again, does it grind up against this low $29,000 region a little bit more and then play out a bit of a pullback? Probably yes. The question is, how far does that pullback come down towards? Again, anywhere down to like 28,200 to 28,000 even, I think is fair game. And I'd be looking for a bit of a bounce there and then come back to it after that. What else do we have? Yeah, we have a bunch of things over here as well. Just kind of following up on this idea for the 5-day time frame on CME and spot price action. Hidden bullish evidence. Obviously, this was already confirmed on spot price action, which is bleeding on over into CME as well. So not bad right there. Bitcoin also reclaiming all major moving averages. And here's the thing: as long as it is above, especially that 200 simple or even the 55 in this case, the white and the green respectively, it will naturally, inevitably be getting the silver cross between the yellow 21 and the green 55, which, last time we saw that happen was back on over here. Time before that was over here. Not too many iterations on CME, but several more on spot price action, which maybe we can go over for a different video. But just, another thing that would kind of be favoring at least another retest of the highs of the current rally this year. Daily time frame, same thing over here. That falling channel has been officially resolved to the upside. That does have an implied target basically to the top of the channel, somewhere between like 30,000 even to 31,000 bucks, something like that. So that is why I do say that short-term time frame pullbacks likely do get picked up and try again higher, maybe later this week, maybe early next week, something like that. What else do we have? And then of course the daily jewel. Do I want to go over the setup again? Now we'll save that for tomorrow's video. I guess we'll have more to update there as well. But just looking at it on CME, yeah, full on signal or full on setup right there, supported by DMI now. And obviously we'll look at the statistics on that yesterday with the strategy tester, which nothing's really changed there. It's just suggests upside, I guess. It's just suggests upside, I guess. I guess we can just briefly take a look at it. It was actually really funny because I saw some comments yesterday where it's like, what 50% probability that it could break to the upside? It's like, how are you fucking mad at that, sir? Do you not understand that it's actually a little bit greater than 50%, but more importantly, the true value is understanding the average winning trade returns, which was about 45%, versus the average losing trade returns, which was about 18%. In that regard, you have a lopsided risk reward with a slightly greater than 50% probability for that one to play out, and do the fucking math, right? Anyways, I won't go over this full one today, but still in play here, obviously. Looking at the statistics, I do want to say that this one on average for the winning trades took 55 days to play out. So, from that setup given, which was last Friday, we'd theoretically be saying like sometime in August, maybe. Again, on average, let's see, how high is the PMARP though in this case? Because that actually will be the profit-taking metric, and actually that might take profit sooner rather than later. So it might not be anywhere near the average, in fact, of 45%. In fact, let me just see, did I do this right over here? 350 VWMA, and what do I have over here? Yeah, actually that is, yeah. So it actually might close rather soon, especially if it gets another push today. So this one, we'll update tomorrow just to see like if it actually closes sooner rather than later in this case, which can definitely happen. I mean, it's already been a pretty significant move, right? Let's see. About 11%. Only 11%. Sorry. Fair enough. Anyways, I think that's a good place for me to be leaving off on this particular video. We'll be back again tomorrow. I expect tomorrow's probably going to be a little more interesting for the short-term timeframes, as we get to follow up on a lot of those things. And then Friday's going to be a big day as well. Other than that, wish you the best of us as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.